Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and it's time for the Game Week 31 edition of 100 Experts, where we're going to take 100 experts of FPL and see what they're up to in Game Week 31 with their transfers, their captaincy, any chips and anything like that. We're going to go through it all today. So if you do enjoy this one, guys, please do leave a like, please do subscribe if you're new around here as well. And there will be a little mention of Marcus Rashford in this video as well. So yeah, let's crack on. Alright, so first of all, guys, these are the 100 FPL Experts, pundits, content creators, lovely people who very, very graciously helped us out with their data this week. Thank you to all of these people. Make sure you do go check them out if you see them anywhere on the internet. So in general, 67% are making one transfer, 23% are making two transfers. I think this one was probably one of the more surprising things I found out when gathering this information. A lot of people actually making two transfers this week. I thought this would really be dominated by one transfers. But yeah, we have actually got quite a few people. In fact, over a quarter of our FPL managers are making two or more transfers, because we have got 3% making three transfers as well. Nobody is using their wildcard. We haven't got a single expert using their wildcard, so maybe this is not really the perfect wildcard week, really. Maybe we could wait maybe 1 or 2 game weeks before we hit the wildcard button, if we still have it in hand, of course. And 7% are not making any transfers at all this week. They are rolling this transfer. And what I should note on this, guys, is those of you who are planning on free hitting in game week 32, which is just next game week, you can't roll your transfer. There's no such thing as a rolled transfers, because as soon as you hit the free hit button, it cancels out any saved transfers that you have. So that's why we're seeing a really, really low amount of people not making a transfer, because pretty much the only people not making a transfer this week are people who are not free hitting in game week 32. And as we know, there is a significant number of our FPL experts that are planning with a 32 free hit strategy. I know that's not going to be for everyone, and we're going to cover some different kind of options depending on what your personal strategy is today. But first of all, guys, let's have a look at the general trends in FPL. So in general, the overall FPL player base has decided that Jack Grealish is the #1 transfer target for Game Week 31. Martinelli coming in second there, and Erling Haaland there as well. So the top three there really are super, super popular compared to lots of the other transfers, these three players. But Jack Grealish certainly is really leading the way with his really good form that he's shown recently. He seems to have nailed down that left wing position as well, although there's no such thing as nailed on in a Man City team with Pep Guardiola ready to troll us, I guess. But yeah, there's loads of other players in here as well that have a little bit of interest, not quite as much as the big three there at the top. So Grealish, Martinelli and Erling Haaland are the three top transfer targets according to everyone in the world of FPL. But as always, we need to see, does this kind of overlap with what our experts are saying? And I can tell you, yes, kind of. Yeah, I mean, the top three, certainly Grealish, Martinelli and Erling Haaland, all have, you know, a lot of interest among our experts as well. A lot of people buying these three players in. So there is a decent amount of correlation there. Kaoru Mitoma and Michael Elise there as well, with quite a lot of interest among our experts as well. So yeah, we've got these 5 players that really do match up with the overall player base. So there is a lot of matching stuff this week, which there wasn't last week. I think it's going to be harder to find a differential this week because of the really popular players are kind of popular for everyone, not just the top FPL managers. Everyone's going to go in for the same players. So that's maybe kind of a little bit more difficult to stand out from the crowd a little bit. But there are quite a few players on here where there are no interest whatsoever from our experts. Tyrone Mings, Ben White, Gabriel Jesus, Fabian Schär, and Kevin De Bruyne there as well. Not a single transfer in for any of these players. In fact, some of them are being transferred out a little bit as well. So that is going to be kind of interesting. We are going to see a lot of people bringing in some of these players whereby our experts are just not interested in these players at all, which does suggest to us generally, if we trust and have faith in the experts, that maybe there are a few people heading into certain traps. You know, Tyrone Mings, pretty bad fixture against Newcastle. We're not expecting Aston Villa to continue their form there. Yeah, we've got like the likes of Ben White. You know, I guess like Ben White, Jesus could work very well if you are kind of not free hitting in Game Week 32. You are looking to get those Arsenal players. Fabian Schär, De Bruyne down the bottom there as well. There's just not enough budget in it for everyone to get the likes of De Bruyne, I don't think. Fabian Schär playing against Aston Villa, that's a difficult fixture for any defence really. So yeah, there is a kind of a mixed bag here, a real mixed bag, but certainly the big big three transfers are popular for everyone. No matter who you are, you do know that these guys are the players to target. But we are going to go into a little bit more detail. First of all, we're going to have a look at who is being sold by our experts and who we are going to be potentially replacing them with. Okay, so Marcus Rashford, 46 transfers out. So I should say this in this video. Some of you guys may know this already, but we have had an injury update on Marcus Rashford where he is expected to miss a few games. And we don't know exactly what a few games means. It could mean 3 games, which would only include 1 Premier League game. He could be back as soon as game week 31, technically. Look, game week 31? Game week 33 is what I should be saying. He could be back as early as game week 33, technically, but it could also be as late as game week 35, 36, which isn't so good, really, isn't it? So it's really a difficult situation. I think if you are not free hitting in game week 32, Marcus Rashford is going to be a pretty easy sell for you. But if you are looking to hold on to him and you do have a nice bench cover there that can cover him for the next few game weeks, there is an option to actually to hold on to him and just bench him and play. You know, it's probably going to be a Brighton midfielder who you're currently benching versus Chelsea. I think they play, yes. Yeah, you probably can just play your Chelsea playing Brighton midfielder instead of Rashford for this week. And Brighton, again, play Nottingham Forest in game week 33. And you're going to be free hitting in game week 32 anyway, potentially. So you're still going to have a few options there to cover Rashford in the short term and just pray and hope that he's going to get some minutes by game week 34, where we do have that double game week for Manchester United. And here's the other minor consideration. If Rashford is out for a few games, even if he does return by game week 34, 2 games in 1 game week, 2 games in 1 week. Is he going to be able to do that directly after a muscle injury? It's difficult to say. Are his minutes going to be managed? Or are Manchester United just going to have to really make sure they play him every single game and get the most out of him, despite the fact that, he is coming off an injury, because there's just a few games in the season left and they are going to be crucial for Manchester United to kind of maintain that top 4 position. So that is definitely something we do need to consider. There is different views on this one. There is no right answer, and as you can see, guys, most of our experts are going to own Marcus Rashford at this point. We're probably looking at 99% of them, so about half are keeping him and about half are selling him. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that there's a right answer. I'm not going to tell you guys that there is a consensus really among our experts either, because quite frankly, there isn't. And it may be a situation where you have other fires to put out as well. You would have to take a -4 to remove Rashford. Do you really want to do that when you could just keep him and hope he's back in time? It's kind of a risk thing, but also at the same time, you could just sell him and have him, plan to buy him back later on if he does return to fitness. It's all going to depend on your team a little bit. And sorry to go on about this Rashford speak a little bit too much maybe, because I know some of you guys have probably already made this decision, but certainly there is no right answer here. And, I've been thinking about this all day for my own personal team. I can't figure out a correct answer. It's just going to be down to personal preference, risk versus reward, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Rashford is still the most popular transfer out. About half of the people are going to be selling him. Maddison is also a really popular transfer out, and that's probably pretty much all Maddison owners looking to sell him this game week, because I don't think we had as many as 30 or 40%. I don't think that many people own Maddison among our experts. And sorry, I can't gather this data to get exactly how many FPL managers own each player. It's just impossible to collect that amount of data. It's really hard to gather it, and it would make the rest of the data we get worse, because we would get less quality stuff. So I do apologize, I can't get 100% clarification on this, and I'm only kind of doing this by rough guys. But what I can see is that pretty much every expert who owns Maddison is looking to sell him right now, so that is significant as well. You probably should be looking to sell Maddison if you do have him, particularly again if you are free hitting in game week 32. You are going to have to make sure you have that game week kind of ignored in many ways. Ben Chilwell, 9 transfers out, so a few transfers out there. Luke Shaw is potentially back a little bit sooner than Rashford. Could be back this game week potentially. Not super likely, but he could potentially be back for game week 31, but still some people looking to sell him. Tony, Raya and Kepa. So a few goalkeeper transfers there at the bottom there. Some people looking to remove out Tony, particularly those looking to get Erling Haaland into their team if they haven't done so already. We're going to find out about captaincy a little bit later, and you're going to see how popular Erling Haaland is as well. But there we go, guys. A little bit of longer chat on the transfers out than usual, but there we go. That's the situation. These are the most popular transfers out among our experts. So, transfers in, there are some popular ones, and then there is a whole bunch of less popular ones as well. There has been a real variety of transfers in among our experts this game week, I have to say, but we still do have a couple of strong trends here. So, first of all, Jack Grealish. Once again, he's just the most popular transfer in for everyone. 34 out of 93. That's about a third of our FPL managers looking to bring him in. I know a few brought him in last game week as well. So we could see Grealish among top FPL managers owned by as many as 40% potentially of top managers, which is going to be pretty interesting. Not really a differential, but definitely a player that could hurt you if you don't have him. I think he's a really, really good pick for those free hitting in Game Week 32. Martinelli, if you're not free hitting in Game Week 32, is going to be the one to go for instead. And Martinelli has been in insane form recently, so a lot of people looking to pick him up as well. Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, a couple of Liverpool players in here. I know we haven't spoken about Liverpool players too much recently, but certainly there is a reignited interest in these players. Again, they have a good fixture in 32 against Southampton, and then they have the double game week in 34, a nice double for Liverpool in 34 as well. So there is definitely some interest in those Liverpool players. Salah and Trent are going to be the top two targets to go for. Salah is really the danger man. He really does look the most dangerous player by quite some distance in that Liverpool team at the moment. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, we know what he can provide with his creativity. As long as Liverpool can keep some clean sheets, perhaps more likely in their home games than their away games. Unfortunately, they don't have a home game this week. They play against Leeds away, but Leeds are a pretty weak attack generally speaking. So potential clean sheets there. I'm not 100% convinced by that one, but hey, let's go on. We've got Edison. So yeah, Edison has become a really popular goalkeeper transfer this game week. A lot of people looking to bring in Edison. You can see why as well. If you are kind of looking to just you don't really have a priority transfer to make this week, but you need to make a transfer because you're free hitting in Game Week 32, you may as well prepare with Edison now. Get him for this game against Leicester, decent chance of a clean sheet, and then in future game weeks, you're going to have 2 double game weeks for Manchester City between now and the end of the season. You've got a defensive asset who is nailed on. You know that Man City are the best defence in the league as well, so the clean sheets are going to be more likely for City than any other teams. You're not going to get any save points or bonus points, but hey, you get a nailed on City defender, and you can't say too much bad about that. Erling Haaland is obviously a player who people are looking to drag into their team by any means necessary, really. We've got a few other guys here as well. So Ake, Elise, Mahrez, and Kaldry Mitoma. A couple of people looking to bring him in as well. Still at this point. So yeah, it's going to depend whether you're free hitting in Game Week 32 or not. If you are, Grealish. If you're not, Martinelli. And we can kind of work from there really with some suggested transfers. So, based on our data we've gathered today, Marcus Rashford to Jack Grealish, Englishman for Englishman, left winger for left winger, similar price as well there. Seems a pretty straightforward transfer really if you are looking to remove Rashford from your team. So, Grealish is going to be your answer if you are free hitting in Game Week 32. Get Grealish in. Next up, we've got Rashford to Martinelli. So if you're not free hitting in Game Week 32, Rashford for Martinelli seems like a really, really obvious move as well. The form that he's in at the moment, really, really good. 2 decent fixtures in a row. West Ham and then, is it Southampton? Who did I say Liverpool play in Game Week 32? Did they play Forest, actually? Yeah, maybe I made a mistake there. But anyway, Rashford to Martinelli looks like a good move. But if you can afford it, and not everyone will be able to afford this one because it requires a little bit of money in the bank, don't get me wrong. But Rashford to Salah is also a pretty popular move as well, which gives you the advantage of a nice run of fixtures for Liverpool. No blank in 32, doubling 34. A lot of people do want Salah for Game Week 34 as well. So yeah, that could be a really, really good move for you guys to make as well if you can afford it. It's going to be kind of difficult to afford, but we've spoken a lot about selling Rashford, but a lot of us are not looking to sell Rashford. So what other moves could we make? So Maddison out for Grealish, or I suppose potentially Martinelli there as well. That's going to be a pretty obvious move to make if you don't want to remove Rashford. You haven't really got any other problems that you want to address in your team. Maybe Maddison out is the priority transfer. He is quite expensive. You can free up a lot of money by making a move like this, and you get a really, really potent FPL asset with some really nice double game weeks coming up there as well. Chilwell to Trent Alexander-Arnold, another way of getting a Liverpool player in. Chilwell is being sold by quite a few people, dropped under Frank Lampard Lampard playing in a left-back position rather than a left wing-back position. And we know Lampard's teams are a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more attacking, and may leave more fragilities in defence, so less clean sheet points as well. And finally, I've put David Raya here as well to Edison. So if you are looking to make a luxury goalkeeper transfer move because you just don't want to burn a transfer, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this. And one more note on getting in Man City players. You know, if you don't want Trent, for example, and you're not worried about Gameweek 32 because you're free hitting, then Chilwell to Nathan Ake potentially could be a really nice move. We saw on the last page that Ake is the most popular Man City defender among our experts because he is seemingly the most nailed on player and is playing just so well this season. He's been incredible. So yeah, Chilwell to Ake could be the move to make there as well. If you want to go for someone a little bit cheaper, you don't have money in the bank, or you just want to make sure you get more Man City players into your team, as many as possible. There's a couple of different kind of luxury transfers. You know, Shaw to Ake you could do as well. It's just going to depend on whether you're making a luxury transfer or you have problems to address in your team, or whether you want to address the problems in your team, or you want to wait and see how things play out. There's no right answer here, as I keep saying. So yeah, with that done, the transfers out the way, the chips out the way. No one's using chips, everyone's using transfers. What about captaincy? Let's see what our experts are up to there. Okay, guys, unfortunately, it is return of the template captain. Erling Haaland at 86%. We have got a reminder of what FPL was like a couple of months ago, where everyone was just captaining Erling Haaland every single game week. I think we're back to that. Thankfully, Game Week 32, we have a City blank, so we will have a little respite from that. But I feel like we are back in Haaland perma-captain for the rest of the season. I can definitely see that happening. Leicester at home is a fantastic fixture, obviously. Erling Haaland has been in fantastic form, scoring for fun, insane amount of goals, really. Yeah, expect that form to continue, and I think he's just the easy captain if you have him. But we do have Harry Kane on 8%, and although that's nowhere near the likes of 86%, 8% is not nothing. That is still a fairly significant trend. So, Kane against Bournemouth, we never really expect Kane to score too many goals, but it's a home game against Bournemouth. It's a pretty decent fixture, and if anyone's going to do well, you know, if Spurs score a couple of couple of goals in that game, you know, if they can actually get like a decent score going, like 3 or 4 goals, which they don't do very often, Kane would really be in the centre of all of that, wouldn't he? So yeah, really, really interested to see him as a bit of a differential. And if you don't fancy going for the obvious Erling Haaland captain, or you don't have him in your team, if you want to go for a differential, or you are forced to another captain, then Harry Kane could be your answer. Now, a few people who have brought in Mahrez this game week are also looking to captain him. So this is a really high risk, high reward kind of captaincy, I guess. But I can't completely knock it. I can understand where people are coming from with this one, if they are looking to take a big risk at the end of the season to try and get that rank boost. But be aware that these kind of moves are a little bit risky. And 2 people on Mo Salah against Leeds as well. Not really a super significant number. I thought that maybe we might see a little bit higher captaincy numbers from Salah, but no, not really. Just 2%. Not really enough to call it a strong trend. So yeah, maybe not the captaincy option for us. I think it's going to be Erling Haaland or bust. Maybe Harry Kane at a stretch. But of course, guys, you may have noticed that these numbers do not add up to 100% because we have one 1%er this game week, who is Kaoru Mitoma away against Chelsea. No idea why one of our experts is captaining him. Maybe he knows something that we don't know, perhaps. But yeah, got to throw that one out there anyway. 1% is, of course, not a trend, so I cannot recommend it to anyone. But, you know, it's a little bit interesting information, I guess, that one of our experts is going for the Japan man against the Blues. So, yeah, let's see how that one goes. But, yeah, for me personally, it's just Erling Haaland or nothing, really, isn't it? We're back in Erling Haaland season. It's Erling Haaland's world. We're just living in it. And that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy this one, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you are new around here. Don't forget to check out Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid yesterday and our tier list video as well. Team selection video coming out tomorrow. And we're going to be doing a stream as well, a strategy stream, because I know there's loads of stuff you guys want to talk about. But leave a comment if you can't wait until then, and I'll try and reply to a few there as well. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.